In the deep and quiet archive of human memory, there are certain nights that refuse to disappear. Nights passed down not with loud screams or burning cities, but with whispers, glances toward the sky, and a shared unease that something familiar had shifted. And among these nights lives the strange and unsettling memory of when people across different lands claimed that the moon itself had turned blue. And as you rest now, allowing your body to grow heavy and still, let us return gently to those distant hours when the world was darker, quieter, and far more dependent on the language of the sky. Because for most of history, the moon was not merely a distant object, but a companion, a clock, a symbol of balance and order. And when that companion appeared altered, cold in color and unfamiliar in glow, it stirred a fear deeper than words. Medieval monks wrote of nights when the moon appeared pale and bluish behind veils of haze. Sailors described a cold glow hanging over motionless seas. Farmers paused their work, unsure whether to pray or hide. And in these records there is no shouting, no chaos, only a soft confusion, a sense that the sky was quietly speaking in a language no one could translate. And in a world without electric light, the moon ruled the night completely, shaping shadows, guiding travelers, and comforting sleepers. So when its color changed even slightly, it felt as though time itself had stumbled. Chroniclers in Europe during the Middle Ages noted strange lunar appearances following massive volcanic eruptions. Though they did not know the cause, they only knew that after distant mountains exploded and darkened the skies, the moon sometimes rose dim, muted, or strangely colored, filtered through layers of ash and dust drifting high in the atmosphere. And similar accounts appear in Chinese imperial records, where court astronomers carefully describe lunar halos, muted hues, and cold-toned moons as warnings from the heavens, not in anger, but in quiet concern. And across the Islamic world, scholars preserved observations of the night sky with remarkable precision, noting how smoke, dust, and thin clouds could soften moonlight until it appeared altered, transformed into something unfamiliar yet undeniably real. And as centuries passed, these rare nights blended into legend, and people spoke of blue moons as omens, as signs of coming change, of failed harvests, long winters, or unseen upheavals. And yet always the fear was restrained, internal, expressed in silence rather than panic, because the night itself demanded calm, demanded stillness. And now, as your breathing slows, imagine standing in a small village centuries ago, no sound, but the wind and distant insects, and above you a moon glowing faintly blue through a veil of sky, not bright, not comforting, but distant and cold, and understand how such a sight could quietly unsettle an entire generation. For without science, the only explanation was meaning, and meaning often carried weight heavier than truth. In some years, the phenomenon was so widespread that multiple cultures recorded it independently. Years following great volcanic winters, when ash circled the globe and filtered sunlight by day and moonal, by night, turning the sun dim and the moon strangely colored. And modern science now understands that particles suspended in the atmosphere scatter light, allowing only certain wavelengths to pass, giving rise to blue-tinted moons and copper-red suns. Yet knowing this today does not erase the emotional reality of those who lived beneath that sky, because for them the heavens were not distant but intimate, watching, responding, reflecting the state of the world below. And so these nights entered folklore, whispered to children, remembered by elders, rattled beside fires in low voices, never exaggerated, always calm, always uneasy. And even the phrase "once in a blue moon" survived as a linguistic echo of rarity, of something seen, but not fully understood, a reminder that the sky can still surprise us. And as the centuries moved forward and cities brightened with artificial light, these moments became harder to notice, rarer to experience, yet they still occur, hidden behind clouds, lost to glowing streets, remembered mostly in old pages and quiet records. And now, as you lie safely in the present, the blue moon no longer warns or frightens. It simply reminds us that the world has always been capable of subtle mystery, that not all wonders rive with noise. Some come softly, in silence, changing nothing and everything at once. And as your thoughts drift and your eyes grow heavy, imagine the ancient blue moon slowly fading back to silver, the sky returning to balance, the night exhaling its tension, and history itself settling into sleep alongside you, calm, distant, and at rest.